welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Sam Menzie, and we have a great show for you today. First topic we'll be covering is going over the game from yesterday, going into versus the American League, action in the National League. After that, we'll be talking about the big free agents that signed this offseason and just the updates on them, how they're doing on their new teams they signed with, or some of them re-signed as well, so just talking about how they're overall doing. And lastly, we're talking about some general injury updates around the league. There were a few high-profile guys that had significant injury updates this week and yesterday as well, so I just wanted to go over that. Now, before we do that, though, and before we get into the show, I'd like to ask you to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link, gsmcpodcast.net. Really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get straight into the show today. All right, so first topic is, of course, what we usually do here, which is going over the American League games of yesterday and just the action, recapping it. Usually we do American League and the National League, so yeah, just wanted to get into that and talk about it. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first game we have from yesterday is going to be Tigers and Rangers, two teams that have T's in their name, Texas and Tigers. So let's start off with that. In the bottom of the third, Zach McKinstry would open up the scoring for the game with a RBI single to score Riley Green to make a 1-0 Detroit in the bottom of the third. Top of the fifth, Ezekiel Duran with an RBI single to score Josh Smith to tie up the game in the top of the fifth for the Rangers. Marcus Semien would also hit an RBI single to make it 2-1 Texas to give them the lead in the top of the fifth. But they would not do anything else the rest of the game, as Kerry Carpenter and the Tigers with an RBI double to score Zach McKinstry to tie up the game 2-2 in the sixth. Then in the eighth, Gio Urshela would hit an RBI single to make it 3-2. And a wild pitch by Jacob Latz would score Matt Vierling in the bottom of the eighth to make it 4-2 Detroit, where they end up winning the game at home 4-2. So a nice win by the Tigers to beat the defending champs, now 3 games above 500, having a really solid season. I expect them to be really good. I think a lot of people did as well, so good for them that they are finally performing. The Rangers had John Gray in the mound, who was pretty decent, actually. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. A really strong start there. Only 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts over 6 innings to this pretty good Tigers offense, I think. Tigers fans will take that any day of the week, so just a really nice start for him. For the Tigers, they had Casey Mize on the mound, who went 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, and 6 strikeouts, 4.11 ERA in the season. But if he keeps pitching like this, I don't think it should stay like that for that long. So, yeah, a really, really great start for him. And, just a good pitching matchup overall, and a good win by this Tigers team, I think. Just a nice job beating this good Rangers team, defending world champions, of course. Next game we have is Orioles-Twins. Bottom of the second, James McCann would open up the scoring for the Orioles, hitting an RBI double to make it 1-0 Baltimore. Then Gunnar Henderson in the same inning, the bottom of the second, would hit a 2-run home run, his 5th of the season, to score McCann to make it 3-0. Then Colton Cowser in the bottom of the third would hit an RBI grounder to make it 4-0. Jordan Westerberg would hit a 2-run home run to make it 6-0. And then Gunnar Henderson would hit an RBI single to make it 7-0. So 7-0 Baltimore in the bottom of the third, just like that. Byron Buxton would get some runs on the board, would get a run on the board finally for the Twins, hitting an RBI triple to score Alex Kirilloff in the top of the fourth, making it 7-1. But the Orioles would answer right back with a Colton Cowser RBI single to score Anthony Santander and make it 8-1. And then in the top of the sixth, Alex Kirilloff would hit an RBI single to make it 8-2 Baltimore to score Ryan Jeffers. Then in the bottom of the sixth, Anthony Santander would hit an RBI single to make it 9-2 Baltimore. And then Ryan O'Hearn would hit his 4th home run of the year and make it 11-2. Jose Miranda would get one final run left on the board for the Twins with an RBI single to make it 11-3, but it would just merely be stat padding at that point, as the Orioles would end up defeating the Twins 11-3. The Twins had on the mound Chris Paddock, who was not good at all. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 12 hits, 9 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, 2 home runs, 8.36 ERA in the season. Now, when you're asking Paddock to fill in for the guys you lost, like Sonny Gray, I don't think that this is the start you want from him. I think he's going to be a big part of their rotation this year, and you do not want him performing like this. So, yeah, not a positive here if you are a Twins fan, and you just simply need Paddock to perform better. For the Orioles, they had Grayson Rodriguez, who was really, really good. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. just a great start by him. Again, controlling those walks. 3 walks, I think, is really solid for 6 innings, and that's really what he's had problems with. I think his stuff is pretty great. Just the control has really been what he's needed to work on, and so far, it's come in handy. Just right now, I mean, it's getting pretty late early for the Twins right now. I understand, they've only played 16 games, but they're 6-10. The Guardians have been really hot. The Tigers have been really hot. And the Twins are just injured all around the team right now, and only 6-10 have really not been performing to the standard that anyone expected them to. They need to pick it up soon, really, really soon. So Twins are definitely a team I'm watching as the next few weeks and months go by, and just to see how they do perform. So yeah, they are a team I'm going to keep very close eyes on. Next game we have on the agenda here is going to be Rays and Angels. Top of the 4th, Mickey Moniak would hit a solo home run, a 2-run home run to make it 2-0 LA in the top 4. Then Logan O'Hoppe would also hit a home run in that inning, making it 3-0 LA. Bottom of the 4th, Harold Ramirez would hit an RBI ground out to make it 3-1 LA. And then there would be no more scoring until the bottom of the 9th, where Jose Caballero would tie up the game 3-3 with an RBI triple, scoring Harold Ramirez and Ahmed Rosario. So a great job by this Rays offense to come back, and they hadn't had a run in 5 innings, but they found a way to get 1 on the board, get 2 on the board actually, and tie up this game against the Angels, who were winning the entire game. Then on the top of the 10th, a wild pitch by Pete Fairbanks would score Aaron Hicks to make it 4-3 LA, but the Rays would answer right back as Yandy Diaz would reach on a fielding error by Jose Cisnero to score Jose Siri and move Yandy to second. Sorry for the sniffling. In the top of the 11th, Taylor Ward would hit a sacrifice fly to Jose Siri to score Joe Adell to make it 5-4 LA. Then in the bottom of the 11th, Harold Ramirez would ground into a double play. Zach Neto to Luis Rengifo to Nolan Chanuel, but Richie Palacios would score. So it would tie at the game 5-5, even though it was a double play. So nice job there. Zach Neto would hit a RBI single in the top of the 13th to make it 6-5. And again, the Rays would answer right back in the bottom of the 13th now. I mean, what a game this was. Richie Palacios hit an RBI double to score Rene Pinto to make it 6-6. And finally, the big blow would come to the Angels' hopes as Ahmed Rosario would hit a walk-off single to score Richie Palacios to make it 7-6 Tampa and end up winning this game for them. I mean, just a really great job by this Rays team to keep fighting back over and over again and win this game. They haven't gone off to the start they wanted, but at 10-8 now, I still think they're a really solid team, and I think Ahmed's been a really solid pickup so far, and I'm really interested to watch this team. But yeah, just a great job by them to keep fighting back over and over again, and finally end up winning this game, just out of sheer will and force. Next game we have here is a matchup of 2 AL East teams, the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Top of the 2nd, Jose Trevino would open up the scoring with an RBI single to score Giancarlo Stanton to make it 1-0 Yankees. Then in the bottom of the 3rd, Justin Turner would answer back with a sacrifice fly to score Dalton Varsho to tie up the game at 1. Bottom of the 4th, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. would hit an RBI single to make it 3-1 Toronto. And then Isaiah Kiner-Falefa in the bottom of the 6th would steal second base at having Ernie Clement score after a miscatch error by Gleyber Torres. Bo Bichette in the same inning would hit an RBI single to make it 5-1 Toronto. Top of the 7th, Trevino would answer back for the Yankees just a little bit with an RBI grounder to make it 5-2. Then Oswaldo Cabrera would hit a sacrifice fly to make it 5-3. In the top of the 9th, Jose Trevino would keep single-handedly fighting for the Yankees, hitting an RBI groundout to score Gleyber Torres to make it 5-4 Toronto. But it would be 2 outs, and the Yankees would not end up doing anything after that, and they wouldn't end up losing 5-4 to Toronto. So after starting off really, really hot, the Yankees have come back down to earth, I think, just a little bit. 12-6 still, but they've lost a few games now. Not in a row, but just haven't had the best stretch. So, yeah. So, good job for the Yankees are coming back down to earth a little bit, but good job by the Blue Jays to beat them and continue winning. For the Yankees, they had Carlos Rodon on the mound, who went 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Just an ass start. I mean, it wasn't really great, but it wasn't horrible anyways, so you do definitely want more out of that. For the Blue Jays, they had Yusei Kikuchi on the mound, who went 6 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 9 strikeouts. A really, really strong start for him. And not just here, but a really strong start to the season as well. He's been really, really solid, a big piece of this great Blue Jays rotation, and yeah, just been really, really good so far. So good for him, and you could say he's finally living up to that potential we thought he had back when he was overseas playing ball. Next game we have is Guardians and Red Sox. In the top of the second, Will Brennan would open up the scoring with an RBI double to score Ramon Laureano. Then Gabriel Arias would hit an RBI double to make it 2-0 Cleveland. Bottom of the fourth, Emmanuel Valdez would hit a 2-run home run to make it 2-1. But Tyler Freeman answered right back for the Guardians to make it 3-1 with his second home run of the year, a solo shot. Jose Ramirez in the same inning would hit a sacrifice fly to score Steven Kwan. Then Josh Naylor would hit an RBI single to score Andres Jimenez. Bottom of the sixth, Tristan Casas would get the Red Sox back within striking distance with his 5th home run of the year, making it 5-2. Then Connor Wong would get them within a run to make it 5-4, with his 2nd home run of the year scoring Wilyer Abreu. Then Rafael Devers would come in absolutely clutch in the bottom of the 6th, a RBI double to score Cedeno Rafael and Jared Duran to make it 6-5 Boston. So a really great job by them to come back against this Guardians team and not give up. Top of the 9th, though, Andres Jimenez would tie up the game for the Guardians, hitting an RBI single to make it 6-6. Then in the top of the 10th, Gabriel Arias would hit an RBI single to score Brian Roquicchio to make it 7-6 Cleveland. But Connor Wong would answer back for the Red Sox, hitting a sacrifice fly to make it 7-7. This game would just keep going on and keep having so many lead switches, as in the top of the 11th, the Guardians would finally end it with a RBI single by Jose Ramirez and a Estevan Florial 2 RBI single to make it 10-7. The Red Sox would not come back after that. They would be too tired and eventually give in to the Guardians, as they would end up winning this very important game 10-7. Guardians had on the mound Tanner Bybee, who went 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Solid start to the season for him. Solid start to this game for him, not to the season, sorry. For Boston, they had Garrett Whitlock on the mound, who had 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, and a strikeout, having an ERA under 2 now to start the season. So a really strong start by him, and just a really strong start for both these teams, both the Guardians and the Red Sox. So, yeah, definitely exciting if you are a fan of one of those teams. The last game we have here on the agenda is Mariners and Reds, an interleague matchup. Bottom of the 4th, Jonathan Clase would hit an RBI double to make it 1-0 Seattle in the bottom 4. Top of the 5th, Stuart Fairchild would hit an RBI groundout to make it 1-1, scoring Jake Fraley. Bottom of the 5th now, we would have Mitch Garver, got the Mitches on the Mariners confused, would walk with the bases loaded to make it 2-1 Seattle. Then in the bottom of the 6th, the other Mitch, the one I said before, would hit an RBI single to make it 3-1 Seattle, and that is where the score would end up staying. So a nice win by the Mariners to win 3-1 against this young, good Reds team. For the Reds, they had Hunter Green on the mound, who was okay, 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, an earned run, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Definitely want to see him go deeper into a game, though, but still solid stats. For the Mariners, they had Logan Gilbert, who was really, really great. 6 2/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, an earned run, only 1 walk and 6 strikeouts, 2.33 ERA in the season now. The Mariners have had some guys underperforming so far to start the season, but having a guy like that in your rotation who's performing up to the level we all know he can be at, I think is a really, really great thing and just a very big positive for the Mariners right now. So, yeah. All right, so that was the end of our first segment here, talking about the AL games of yesterday and just the action that went along with that. We'll be going to our second segment, which is talking about the National League games. So, yeah, just the games and the baseball action that happened yesterday. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that. But first, we'll see you after the break. So, thank you so much, and bye.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna
wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit, I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant, I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing shit. A stupid myth, you choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
And we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our second segment, which is going to be talking about the NL games of yesterday. But before we do that, I would like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link at gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show. It really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get back into the show today. All right, so we just talked about the American League games of yesterday, so I think it's only fitting to talk about the National League games and just the action that went on yesterday. So, yeah, let's get straight into that. So the first game I did want to talk about was Pirates-Mets, two teams that have been red hot recently, especially the Mets, who have just been great in starting 0-5. They were looking to win the series with this game, as you know they won the first game. So if they won this game in a 3-game series, they would have won the series. So opening up the scoring here in the top of the fifth with a Brian Reynolds RBI single to score Alika Williams. Then in the bottom of the seventh, after coming in for an injured Brett Beatty, Joey Wendell would hit an RBI double to score Francisco Lindor and make it 1-1 Mets, tying up the game. Great job by them. Then, with Jeff McNeil batting, Pete Alonso would score on a balk to make it 2-1 Mets. It seems like everything's going their way right now. And then Jeff McNeil would hit an RBI double on a line drive to Brian Reynolds to score Joey Wendell to make it 3-1 Mets. And that is where it would end up being, and the Mets would end up winning this game 3-1. A great job by them, and just they really have been on fire this season so far after starting 0-5. So just a great job there. The Pirates had on the mound Jerry Jones, who was absolutely phenomenal. 5 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts. He was on a 5-inning pitch limit. I'm telling you, as someone who watched this game, he could have gone much deeper into it. Was just honestly outstanding, and I think Jared Jones is going to be a problem for baseball fans going forward, especially NL Central fans. Oh man, is this guy good? He is really, really good. The Mets had Jose Quintana on the mound, who went 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, an earned run, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. A really solid start against his former team, kind of what you expect for Quintana. Just nothing to blow your socks off or truly incredible, but just a really solid start and just a really solid game. So, yeah, I mean, just good job, good start for him, and I think that's why the Mets signed him in the first place, just to do stuff like that. The next game we have on the agenda is Braves and Astros. Of course, again, a matchup of the 2019 World Series. In the top of the second, Orlando Arcia would hit his first home run of the year, making it 1-0 Atlanta. Then he would, and it's going all the way to the top of the seventh now, he would hit a sacrifice fly to score Austin Riley to make it 2-0. Then in the top of the ninth, Luis Guillorme would hit a RBI ground rule double to score Marcell Ozuna and Orlando Arcia to make it 4-0 Atlanta. Chadwick Trump would add on with an RBI double of his own to make it 6-0. And the Astros would attempt to come back in the bottom of the ninth with a Kyle Tucker home run to make it 6-1, and then a Mauricio Dubon RBI single to make it 6-2. But that would be it for the Astros, as they would end up conceding this game to the Braves at 6-2 and losing. For the Astros, they had Hunter Brown on the mound, who was really solid. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, and a homer. Has, of course, had a bad start to the season, but this is a really nice bounce-back start for him, especially against an offense as great as the Braves. So, yeah, just a really nice start there. For the Braves, they did have Reynaldo Lopez on the mound. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, .50 ERA in the season so far. I mean, he's just been outstanding, honestly, and if he becomes a real legit starting pitcher, the Braves found a hidden gem, and that really helps the rotation now, especially with the injury to Spencer Strider. So I think that's really what Braves fans are hoping for. They're just hoping he can be a really, really good pitcher, and so far the little experiment has worked out for the Braves. So congratulations to them. I mean, we really don't kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here? We don't fault the Braves anymore. We kind of just accept what they're doing is going to be right because they have done it so far. So they have been a great organization. So, yeah. Next game we have here is going to be Phillies and Rockies, two teams that made a preseason trade with the Jake Cave trade. So a little bit of storyline there, even though Jake Cave is a bench warmer. Bottom of the fifth, JT Realmuto would open up the scoring with his third home run of the year, a 2-run shot to score Trey Turner to make it 2-0 Philly. Then, in the bottom of the sixth, Bryce Harper would hit an RBI double to make it 3-0 Phillies, scoring Trey Turner. Then, Bryce Harper would hit a home run in the bottom of the eighth to make it 5-0 Phillies, and scoring Johan Rojas to make it to end up, and that is where the score would end up staying, is what I'm trying to say, and it would end up being 5-0 Phillies. So, a really great job by them, and a good job to win this game and capitalize against playing a bad opponent in the Colorado Rockies. For the Rockies, they had Austin Gomber on the mound, who went 5 1/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts, and a home run, 4.96 ERA in the season. An start, I mean, what do you really expect it for Austin Gomber against the Philadelphia Phillies? I mean, a great offense. So for the Phillies, they had Ranger Suarez on the mound, who was absolutely phenomenal. A complete game shutout, only 7 hits allowed, 8 strikeouts, only 1 walk. An absolutely amazing start for Suarez. Probably the second best start of the season, of course, after Ronald Blanco's no-hitter. So, yeah, just an amazing start for him. And, I mean, with the Phillies' struggles and the depth issues they're facing in their bullpen and their rotation, I think having a start like this for Suarez is always welcome, and especially right now. What a great start. And, yeah, we don't really see many complete game shutouts in baseball nowadays because of pitchers not going as deeper into games because of the analytics and all that. So it is always nice to see when someone does something like this. So yeah, just a really nice job by him. And yeah. Next game we have is the Marlins and Giants. Again, two teams that had been heavily underperforming. Marlins hoping to get their 4th win of the season here. Top of the second, Matt Chapman would open up the scoring with his 4th home run of the year already for the Giants, making it 1-0 San Francisco. Hasn't done anything else, but has hit a lot of home runs. 4 at this point of the season is really nice, especially for him. So that's a good job there. Top of the third, Wilmer Flores would add on for the Giants, hitting an RBI double to make it 2-0. Brian De La Cruz would answer back for the Marlins, hitting an RBI double himself to make it 2-1. Then Jesus Sanchez would ground into a fielder's choice to score Brian De La Cruz to tie the game at 2. Bottom of the 6th, Tim Anderson would ground into a force out to score Josh Bell to make it 3-2 Miami, giving them the lead, of course. Then Luis Arraez would hit a RBI single to score 2 to make it 5-2 Miami in the bottom of the 6th. The Giants would come back a tiny bit with Lamont Wade Jr. hitting an RBI single to make it 5-3, but it would be no match as in the bottom of the 7th, Nick Gordon would answer back with a RBI single of his own to make it 6-3 and get that run back on the board, and that is where the game would end up staying. So a nice win by the Marlins here against this good Giants team. They are underperforming, yes, but any win you can get like this is a really good sign, and just a good win for them overall. The Giants had Jordan Hicks on the mound, who again was phenomenal. 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, 1.57 ERA in the season. I mean, a lot of teams turn guys we know as relievers to starters this year, including the Braves with Reynaldo Lopez, and with the Giants, and with Jordan Hicks and the Giants. And so far it's worked out pretty well. I mean, Lopez, as we just talked about, has been incredible. Hicks has been incredible. And today, while I'm doing the show, we learned that Michael King was close to throwing a no-hitter with the Padres. So it's been a really successful experiment so far, and it's something I'm interested in watching and seeing if it does keep up with baseball in the future, and if it is something that does become a prevalent trend nowadays. For the Marlins on the mound, they indeed had Ryan Weathers, who went 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, but 10 strikeouts. Had a really great start for him against this great Giants offense. I mean, 10 strikeouts going significantly into the game, I think is really, really solid, and just, a really great start by him. For next up, we are going to be having Padres and Brewers. For this game, we would start the scoring in the top of the first with a Manny Machado RBI groundout. Then a big 3-run home run by Ha-Seong Kim, his third of the year as well, to make it 4-0 San Diego. Bottom of the first, Jake Bauers would answer back a tiny bit with a RBI double to make it 4-1. Luis Campusano in the top of the seventh. Big gap in the scoring, obviously a lot of scoring in the first and then none in the middle of the game. But top of the seventh, the scoring would pick back up with a Luis Campusano RBI single to score Fernando Tatis Jr., then a Jackson Merrill RBI groundout to score Jurickson Profar. Bottom of the seventh, William Contreras would hit an RBI single to make it 6-2, and then in the bottom of the ninth would hit an RBI groundout to make it 6-3. But the Brewers would not end up coming back after that, and they would end up losing this game to the Padres 6-3. For the Brewers, they had Wade Miley on the mound, who was not good. 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and a home run. Not what you want from him, especially against this Padres offense, which is really solid. The Padres, they had Dylan Cease on the mound, who went 6 innings, 2 hits, an earned run, 5 walks, and 7 strikeouts. So an interesting start, to say the least. Yes, only 2 hits and 1 earned run over 6, but also gave up 5 walks. So I'd still think it's good, but I think Cease definitely needs to work on those walks going into the future as with the Padres. So definitely something I'm watching, and definitely something I'm hoping he does improve on. The next game we have was an absolute amazing game, Cubs and Diamondbacks. I'm going to talk about that last, though, because it is a really long game and really exciting, so we are going to be saving that to the end, so make sure you watch and listen to hear what happened there. But next game then we're talking about is going to be Cardinals Athletics. Bottom of the second, Kyle McCann would open up the scoring for the Athletics, making it 1-0 Oakland. Then in the top of the third, Brandon Donovan would answer back with an RBI groundout to make it 1-1. Kyle McCann would then homer to make it 2-1. So McCann was not giving up, trying to ruin the A's tank, I guess. His first of the season as well. Mason Wynn would hit a sacrifice fly to J.J. Bleday to score Nolan Arenado to make it 2-2. Then Jordan Walker would hit a sacrifice fly in the top of the sixth to get the Cardinals up 3-2, and the A's would not answer back after that, and the Cardinals would not score after that, making it a 3-2 win for St. Louis over the lowly A's, who had on the mound J.P. Sears, who was actually really solid. 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, an earned run, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Sorry about that. Was really, really solid, and again against this Cardinals offense as well, which is really good in my opinion. I think that's really all you can ask for. For the Cardinals, they had Lance Lynn on the mound, who was also really good. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and 1 homer. Say what you want about Lynn, but he's been really, really solid to start the season back with St. Louis. 20 innings pitched, 2.18 ERA in the season, 4 games. So, yeah, a really great job by him, and a positive sign for the Cardinals that he is performing so well. The next game we have on the agenda is going to be Dodgers and Nationals. Dodgers looking to bounce back after dropping a game to the Nationals, who frankly are not very good. Bottom of the first, Teoscar Hernandez would ground into a double play, but Mookie Betts would score, so it would make it 1-0 Dodgers. Austin Barnes in the bottom of the second would hit an RBI single to make it 2-0, and Mookie Betts would hit an RBI double in the same inning to make it 3-0. Jesse Winker would answer back for the Nationals, make it a 3-2 with a 2-run home run. Winker just has been outstanding with the Nationals so far. Just a really great pickup for them. Kike Hernandez would hit a solo home run in the bottom of the fifth to get some more insurance runs for the Dodgers, making it 4-2. And Teoscar Hernandez would single on a RBI ground ball to make it 5-3. And Mookie Betts would also single to make it 6-2 Dodgers. The Nationals would not score after that and would not come back, as the Dodgers would end up winning 6-2, and they had a nice comeback win there. Nationals had on the mound Patrick Corbin, who went 6 1/3 innings pitched, 9 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts, and a home run, with a 8.06 ERA on the season. Look, Nationals fans, Corbin's contract's almost over. Got 1 year left. Just, got to keep pushing through these starts. I'm going to say it every time. The Dodgers, they had Kyle Hurt as the opener on the mound. 2 innings pitched, 3 hits, no 1 runs, no walks, no strikeouts. About as fine as an opener can get. Nothing too extraordinary there, but kind of all that you need. Ryan Yarbrough was on the mound, who went 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 1 runs, 3 strikeouts to have a 3.2 ERA in the season. He was the bulk guy there. So, yeah, that was it for the Dodgers and Nationals game. We now, of course, have the very exciting game of Diamondbacks and Cubs. If you saw what happened on social media, you already know this is a great game. But if you didn't, strap in because it's very, very exciting, and there's a lot of action going on. So, yeah, it's a very exciting game and something you'll want to hear what happened about. So, scoring would open up in the bottom of the second with a Blaze Alexander RBI ground ball to score Jock Peterson to make it 1-0 Arizona. Moved to the top of the third, and Miguel Amaya would hit an RBI double to score Ian Happ to tie the game at 1. Then, in the bottom of the third, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. would hit his 5th home run of the season back with the Diamondbacks after re-signing, making it 3-1 Arizona. Then Jock Peterson would hit his first home run as a Arizona Diamondback to make it 4-1. Top of the 5th, Miguel Amaya would again come in the clutch with an RBI triple. Very rare for a catcher to hit an RBI triple, or a triple in general, to score Ian Happ to make it 4-2. Then Alexander Canario, back with the big league team, would make it 4-3. Then Nico Horner would tie it up with a RBI double to make it 4-4. So a great job by this Cubs offense to come back and fight back. Cody Bellinger would then hit an RBI triple to make it 5-4 Chicago. So just great job by them to be able to take the lead and start winning this game, which really nobody expected. In the bottom of the 5th here, a wild pitch by the Cubs pitcher Luke Little would score Ketel Marte, tying up the game. So a really unfortunate way for the Cubs to give up this lead after fighting back for it. Then Jock Peterson would have a walk with the bases loaded to make it 6-5. Then Eugenio Suarez would hit a sacrifice fly to make it 7-5. Then Blaze Alexander would hit an RBI single to make it 8-5. So a great job by the Diamondbacks offense to score all these runs and fight back after the Cubs did take the lead back from them. Then top of the 7th, Christopher Morel would hit a sacrifice fly to make it 8-6. Then Garrett Cooper would hit a RBI single to make it 8-7. Then the big blow would come with an Ian Happ grand slam, his first home run of the season as well. Really exciting moment here, making it 11-8 Chicago, keeping this back and forth going for this game. I mean, what an incredible game so far. Maybe the game of the year. Bottom of the 7th, though, the Diamondbacks would continue to fight with a Blaze Alexander RBI double, his first of the year, to make it 11-9. Jock Peterson would then hit a sacrifice fly to make it 11-10. And then the Diamondbacks would, of course, come back with a Ketel Marte solo home run to make it 11-11 and tie up this game. What a great job there. Bottom of the 10th, Randal Grichuk would hit an RBI double to make it 12-11 Arizona and win this game in an absolute stunner for the Diamondbacks. I mean, what an incredible game for them. What an incredible comeback. Just really exciting baseball action. That was just super fun to watch and super fun to see the highlights of as well. So, yeah, that is the end of our segment 2 here, going over the NL games and the action of yesterday. We'll be going into our third segment, which is talking about the updates on the biggest free agent signings of the offseason. We are around 15, 16 games in the season, so I just want to give an update on how these guys are performing. I picked the top 9 free agents, and just wanted to give an update on their new performances with their either new teams or the teams they re-signed with. So just how the contract's working out so far. So I'll be talking about that, but first we're going to a break, so I'll see you after that. Thanks, and bye.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube. Absolutely free. NFL.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody
College football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
And welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. During the break, I did accidentally press the first break button in the middle while the second break was going, so if that was a weird audio thing, if you were watching or listening, I do apologize for that. That was my fault, just a weird little thing that happened there. So, yeah, but getting to our third segment here now, we are going to be talking about, as I said, updates on the biggest free agent signings of the offseason. I picked the top 9 guys and just wanted to give some little quick updates on how they're doing with either their new teams or whatever teams they sign with. It could have been a re-signing. So, yeah, we are a little bit into the season so far, just gauging how these guys have done. So, yeah. Also, since I'm just remembering now, yesterday I did my segment 3 was about prospects coming up to the major leagues, and one of the top prospects coming up was the Dodgers' Andy Pages. I did pronounce it Pages, which was completely my fault. I did not know it was Pages, but I do know now, so I apologize for that yesterday if you did listen. So, yeah, I just wanted to make a note of that before we get into our third segment. So, the first player I, of course, want to talk about, if you're talking about free agents, is the biggest free agent signing in the history of professional sports, which is, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Shohei Ohtani. Now, on the field, he's been great. 4 hits so far, 4 home runs so far, an OPS of 1.019. I mean, just incredible. Any OPS over 1, I mean, is pretty great. Going over to the advanced stats now so far, I mean, he has a 172 WRC+, .9 WAR in 92 plate appearances, which is pretty incredible. So, yeah, I mean, he's been Ohtani. He has an ISO of .293, which is just incredible. So he's just a great player, and he has been. Now, off the field, it has been not a different story. I mean, it's not really his fault. We all know what's happened with the situation with Ippei and the theft, and Ippei now being a criminal who's on house arrest. So, not really his fault, but he has caused some distractions, I'd say. Again, I'm not blaming it whatsoever on Ohtani, but it is just what happened, and he did bring some off-the-field stuff with him that, obviously the Dodgers would have liked to avoid, but again, there's no way of seeing what have happened, so it's not to blame of anyone, but that is of note. But he's been great with the Dodgers. I mean, he's been who they've signed. He's been amazing, and he hasn't let the Ippei situation take a hold of him, as Tyler Glasnow said in an interview recently with Chris Rose, so that's also a good thing. He's also not even pitching, and he's this great, so once he gets pitching and once you see the full value of him, you're going to realize we're going to see again why he got paid that much money, and it's clearly worth it. I don't think anyone's arguing that, and he's been pretty great so far for the Dodgers. The next player we have is Aaron Nola for the Phillies, who re-signed with them on a big 7-year contract. Nola has so far a 3.47 ERA, starting 4 games, and throwing 23 innings. So, yeah, an ERA plus of 124. The FIP has not been great at 5.56, which could potentially show some regression coming for Nola in the future. I think that is definitely possible, but, I mean, he's been a great pitcher in his career so far, so I don't really know if that's really too keen. Also, his K percentage is down so far from 25% last year to 20% this year. His walks are also up to 9%. So there could be some potential regression coming for him. I think it is possible. His barrel percentage so far is 7.4, which is less than last year. So there are some things to be worried about with Nola. I think he also showed some regression potentially last year. And the thing about him is he's such a workhorse that he still is now, that there is a lot of mileage on that arm. There is potential injury risk in the future just because he is known for being a workhorse, a guy that throws so many innings. So that could be something that pops in the future, some injury risk. But again, as I've said over the course of this show, I think every pitcher is going to have a major injury at some point in their professional career. It's just like your profession at this point. It's just something what's going to happen. You want your profession to be a professional pitcher, you're going to get hurt at some point. So I think that's just something you have to live with. And I think for the money they make and the fun they have, I think it's a sacrifice that they are willing to take. Again, Tyler Glasnow said it himself. He's taking the risk 100% of the time, throwing as hard as he can, even with the injury risks he's had. So, it is. I think that's a pretty clear indication on how pitchers think and what their thoughts are. So, just about that there. For the Dodgers, the next signing, is again with the Dodgers. Of course, we are talking about another Japanese player, the rookie Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who got, of course, the biggest contract in baseball history for someone who had not thrown a pitch or appeared in an MLB game at all. For Yamamoto, he has thrown 4 starts so far, 16 innings pitched, 4.50 ERA. ERA plus of 96, fifth of 3.18. So they're saying he's gotten a little unlucky, it looks like, and that he might be better than the numbers are showing. He's been really, really great since that first start. His first start was in Korea and was really, really bad. But I think there might have been some nerves there going back to Asia as well. Just might have been all things put together that he just was a little nervous and he didn't pitch up to his full abilities. I mean, right now his K percentage is 31, which is great. Walks only at 6, so yeah, he's been really good so far. Barrel percentage is at 15, which is a little worrying, but I think that'll come down eventually. I don't think that's something that's really a huge long-term risk for Yamamoto or the Dodgers. Again, I'm extremely high on Yamamoto. I think he is an amazing player and just a great overall pitcher. So, yeah, I'm not really that worried at all about him. I think he's a great player and a guy that is going to be a big part of the Dodgers rotation in the future and is going to be one of the better MLB pitchers in the league pretty soon and might already be one. So, yeah, again, I'm very high on Yamamoto and I don't see him becoming a bust anytime soon, and I am really, really high in his future. I'm really, really excited for it. He is playing the Mets soon, actually. The Mets are going to L.A. Of course, the Mets were the team that were tied with the most amount of money for him, so that'll be interesting to see how he does fare there against a team that was heavily bidding for his services. So, yeah, that should be something interesting to watch as well. We go from 2 Dodgers to now 1 former Dodger in Cody Bellinger, who, of course, signed a 3-year contract with the Cubs, one of the top free agents after having a bounce-back season. He has not been good so far back with the Cubs. A 57 WRC+, plus, only 2 home runs as well. So, yeah, definitely not what you want, but he also brings some good defense, so it's not the worst thing, but he does have negative .2 WAR, an OPS of 604, an OPS plus of 65, so yeah, definitely not what you want from him. I think this is one of the reasons a lot of teams were very skeptical about signing him and why he was left on the market for so long. Simply put, he had a great season last year with the Cubs, yes, but he didn't hit the ball hard. I think a lot of teams were very worrisome about would he be able to keep this up? Would he be able to escape the regression that every team thought was coming? So I think that's why he was on the market for so long, and that's why he had to end up settling, going back to his former team with a 3-year contract. So, yeah, he does provide, again, some great defense, some versatility. So it's not all bad, but you're really hoping that he does get the hitting back up to where it was. I think if Bellinger can honestly even just be simply above average hitter, like a guy that has a 105 WRC plus to 115, you'll be a really valuable player. I don't think he's going to have the stats he did last year where they're just truly incredible, and I don't think he needs to. So I think he needs to get back to hitting, though, at least a little bit. So we'll be watching that. But right now, not what you want for the Cubs and not what you want for Bellinger. So yeah, that was something there to talk about. Not doing good. Negative, as I said, negative WAR already. So you definitely need him to start improving if you are the Cubs, and he's a big part of your team. So, yeah. Next is Blake Snell, who, of course, signed a 3-year contract with the Giants. He's had 2 starts so far, went 7 innings, giving up 10 earned runs and a 13 ERA in the season. I'd say that's not pretty. I don't think that's pretty good, guys. I don't know about you, but I don't think that's pretty good. I mean, his whip is almost at 2. He has just really not been good. Again, I want to make it clear it's 2 starts for Snell. You know, he had to rehab a little bit after not having spring training. So 6.10 FIP, which is obviously half of that ERA, but still not good, of course. So Blake Snell has not been good. He's not been doing good. And, yeah, you definitely need him to do better right now if you're the Giants, signing him to that big contract and making him a big part of your rotation. So I think, again, this is another reason. He was also a part of that Boris 4 that was with Bellinger on the market. We have the next 2 coming up as well, so we'll be talking about them. But, yeah, Snell has not been good, and I think a lot of teams, that was one of the reasons teams were worrisome to give him a big contract. Yes, he's won 2 Cy Youngs in his career, and no one can take that away from him. It's an outstanding accomplishment, but the years he doesn't win a Cy Young, he's not that good. He gets a lot of walks. He doesn't go deep into games, and he's not a very valuable pitcher. So teams were trying to bridge the gap of, are we getting the Cy Young Blake Snell, something in the middle, or just the guy that doesn't win Cy Youngs and is just a bad pitcher. So we'll be seeing what does happen with him. So far, it's the bad one, but again, only 2 starts in. He's getting used to a lot of different things, being with the Giants and just a new organization in general, so I'm not judging him too much. Next, we are going to be talking about another guy who signed with the Giants, Blake Snell's teammate, now of course, Matt Chapman. Chapman was also part of the Boar's 4, as I said. So far has been okay, an 85 WRC+, plus, which is not what you want, but of course is playing his amazing defense like usual. I mean, he's one of the greatest defenders of all time at this point. I don't think anyone's really arguing that. So far already has 4 DRS, so has just been truly incredible. I mean, he's playing the defense we all know and love. Yes, the offense isn't quite there yet, but he's also not been horrible. And he brings so much defensive value with that glove that, you don't need him to hit like a superstar. You just need him to hit like a good, solid player. I mean, he already has .7 WAR on the year with not being a great hitter. Should show you how valuable he is in other facets of the game. So, yeah, a great player, Chapman right there. And you would like to get his hitting back up, of course, but it's not a huge deal, and it's something that you can deal without right now for the season and for who Matt Chapman is. So, yeah. Next up, we have Jordan Montgomery, who, of course, did sign with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, Montgomery has not made a start yet with the Diamondbacks, as he is still rehabbing from signing really late into the season. His signing has become much more important for the Diamondbacks now with the Eduardo Rodriguez injury, who was just transferred to 6th AL. We're going to talk about that in the 4th segment, so we're not going to go too deep into it. But yeah, I mean, Montgomery, I think, was a really great signing by the Diamondbacks. Added another legit arm to that rotation, and assuming Rodriguez is healthy during the playoffs, you would have Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Montgomery, Rodriguez, Brandon Pfaadt. I mean, that's 5 above-average starters there. That's 2 aces, 2 really great starters, and a good starter as well. So I think the Diamondbacks pitching and the Montgomery signing being a part of that is one of their biggest strong suits. And yeah, I loved the signing when it happened, and I still do. And whenever he does make his first start with the Diamondbacks, I believe it will be soon. We'll be letting you know about it, and we'll be talking about it. So, yeah. Next player we have is going from a former Cardinal in Montgomery to a guy who signed with the Cardinals in Sonny Gray. Gray started off the season hurt with the Cardinals with a minor injury, but has come back now, made 2 starts for them, 11 innings, and has given up 0 earned runs, 9 hits, 0 earned runs, .6 pitching WAR so far. I mean, yeah, he's been pretty incredible. Nothing else to say there. 2 innings pitched. This guy who finished very high in Cy Young voting last year, a really, really good pitcher. And yeah, just someone I think is a really great pitcher. Someone the Cardinals have needed for a long time, a true ace of that staff, because they have just had so many mediocre level pitchers. I think Gray's have been a great fit for them. And yeah, just a great job for them. Next, we have finally Josh Hader of course, the Houston Astros. Now, Hader has been horrible. Not going to sugarcoat it at all. Negative .5 WAR, 9.39 ERA in the season, 7.2 and a third innings pitched. Has really not been good. Has blown a few leads now for them. And when he has come in, it has been kind of worrying. So you definitely want to hope Hader becomes better. I mean, the underlying stats have been okay with him, 3.64 FIP, so I don't think it should last for too much longer. But again, there's been some complaints by the Astros fan base about how new manager Joe Espada is using him in kind of a negative way. So maybe that's part of it. But again, he's dealing with a lot, going for a big expectations with that free agent contract, getting used in new ways, dealing with new battery mates, so playing new opponents in the AL West. So there's a lot of new things for Hader, and I wouldn't be too worried about him. I still think he's a top 3 closer in the game, and I still think it was a great signing by the Astros. But the Astros do have some problems. I think they go much past Hader, so I don't really think he's at the forefront of that. So yeah, that was our 3rd segment here. We're going to our 4th and final segment of the show today, which is talking about talking about some just general injury updates around the league. I have 4 main things I want to talk about with those, just some notable guys that do have some updates with them. So yeah, just wanted to give my 2 cents on that, and we'll see you after the break. So thanks and bye.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
And we are back here for our fourth and final segment on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, talking about some just injury updates around the league and some stuff that's going on. So, yeah, I wanted to get into that and just talk about it. So, here we go. First one we have is one that has become unfortunately not surprising over the years now, which is Chris Bryant being put on the IL for the Rockies with a back strain. Now, Bryant has dealt with a lot of injuries so far through his Rockies career. Was a big shocking of a signing when he came over to Colorado. I remember that day when it was announced that he was signing with Colorado. Every single baseball fan on social media was really confused about what's going on. And then we saw the contract and we're like, okay, yeah, makes sense for Chris Bryant to go there. I mean, the contract was just abysmal in an overpayment. They were really just desperate to get another star player on the team after trading Chris Bryant, after trading Nolan Arenado and losing Trevor Story. So it made sense in that way. But yeah, I pretty much knew Chris Bryant's contract would not turn out well with whatever team he landed with. Everything we heard about him was that he was not going to age well and that he had some long-term risks. And it's been proven so far with the Rockies. When he has been on the field with them, he's been horrible, including this year, OPS under 530, and he hasn't been on the field most of the time anyway. He's been injured to all the way for this Rockies tenure. So yeah, has not really become a surprising thing right now, being with the Rockies and Chris Bryant being injured. It's not really a big effect on them anyways. I think they know how to plan for it. He's become just kind of the guy that's there to draw tickets, and people who are kind of casual baseball fans will see the Rockies and be like, "Ooh, Chris Bryant's there. He used to be good a few years ago. He might be good still. Maybe we'll go see the Rockies." I think that was kind of the Rockies' plan. But yeah, Chris Bryant. It's unfortunate what's happened to him. Was such a great player in his prime with the Cubs. Was solid with that tenure coming over to the Giants, and just really unfortunate how his career has kind of fizzled out with the Rockies, and he's kind of been plagued to irrelevancy with this franchise. So, I mean, he did sign there. And believe me, he's making a lot of money, more money than I think me and everyone who's listening and watching this will ever see in their lifetime. So it's not all bad, but he was such a great player in his prime. I think was destined for the Hall of Fame, and just all that has really crumbled apart. So it's unfortunate how his career has gone so far and what's happened with him, but that's sports, and you never know what's going to happen with people. So yeah. Next, we have the Arizona Diamondbacks. We talked about it before in the other segment, just previewing it a little bit, which was the Diamondbacks placing Eduardo Rodriguez on the 60-day IL with transferring him to the 60-day IL after a hamstring strain that came up in spring training. Now, I talked a lot about the Diamondbacks offseason and Eduardo Rodriguez, how big of a fan I was of the signing for them. I thought Erod made them such a great rotation and was really, really solid. So I loved this signing. I thought it was a great move by them. But unfortunately, we have not seen him play yet, and he is now being moved to the 60-day IL because he had a setback in his rehab with elbow soreness. So I think Eduardo is going to be a really big part of this Diamondbacks team. I don't think he's not going to be still. I really think he is going to be. But it is lucky now that you did sign Jordan Montgomery because you have Eduardo Rodriguez being placed in the 6th IL. But yeah, it's just been unfortunate what did happen. Kind of a freak injury during spring training. And then hurting your elbow during the rehab is also unfortunate. But the Diamondbacks have a lot of pitching depth. Montgomery, Kelly, you have Gallen, you have Brandon Pfaadt. You have guys coming back like Drew Jamison. Not sure. Dre Jamison will probably be next year, but still a guy that is in the wings. The Diamondbacks did select Logan Allen, who I think is a solid depth pitcher. I'd hope he isn't making more than 1 or 2 starts for them. That's really all you can hope for. I'd also hope he's more of a depth guy or long relief guy to the bullpen. But when you have Eduardo Rodriguez getting hurt, a guy you signed to be your 3rd starter, I think it is. You do have to do some things you might not want to do, and it is unfortunate what happens. So, yeah. Definitely watching Rodriguez and how he comes back with the Diamondbacks. Again, I love the signing. Thought it was a great move. I thought the Diamondbacks had a great offseason and was really propelled by this. So, yeah, just unfortunate what's happened with Eduardo Rodriguez so far. And I think that I think that this is a guy the Diamondbacks need back, especially during the playoff times. I think that when he does come back during the playoffs, this rotation is just going to be absolutely phenomenal with that lineup as well. This is going to be a really tough team to play, really tough team to beat, and just something I'm watching as the season does go on. And yeah, just something I'm really interested in. Again, I thought that Rodriguez signing was great. I thought it was an amazing move by the Diamondbacks to add on to this young team. I think a lot of teams should have been doing what the Diamondbacks were, which is a young team that saw their window open a year before, maybe a year before they thought they would be good, making it, of course, all the way to the World Series with that incredible run. They saw, okay, you know what? We thought maybe next year would be the time to add and spend a lot of money. No, this is the time. And they added Eduardo Rodriguez. They added a Eugenio Suarez. They added Jock Peterson, Randall Grichuk, Jordan Montgomery. So just a great move, great job by them to recognize that and wanting to win. That was the big thing, wanting to win. A lot of teams nowadays, they don't want to win. They don't want to spend the money. And I was really happy the Diamondbacks did, and the Diamondbacks proved that they were happy with who they were and happy that they did make the playoffs and happy to spend money and improve this team. That was really nice to see, and I'm a big fan of the Diamondbacks, rooting for them, and just love watching their team play as well. So, unfortunate what happened to E-Rob, but I don't think he should be out much longer after the 60 days, and I think he'll be a big impact when he does come back. Next, we have some big news coming out of Houston. Justin Verlander will be back on Friday and will be returning against the Nationals. Now, Verlander was, of course, on the injured list after having a setback in spring training with some soreness after playing catch. So he made some rehab starts with one of the best minor leagues teams, the Space Cowboys, who are the Astros one of the Astros minor leagues affiliate. I just wanted to say that name again, the Space Cowboys. I love that name. It's so cool. So many great minor league teams. I mean, the Rocket City Trash Band, that's another one, but another situation, another topic for another day. But I think it's really positive for the Astros now that Verlander's coming back. I mean, how could it not be? You've had so many injuries with the pitching's rotation that getting Verlander back is a big step. You've had guys like I've talked about, Spencer Arrighetti, J.P. France making real starts for you. You needed a guy like Verlander back, one of your big aces, one of the big pitchers in your rotation. Hunter Brown's been off to a not great start as well, so I think bringing Verlander back, even though he might not be the Verlander of old, he still is a really good pitcher, a really solid pitcher. I think bringing him back just provides a new level of depth for this Astros rotation, provides a new level of, I would say, new level of hope for Astros fans this year. Hoping that they can get back to the Astros we all know, we have all seen over the past few years. They have been really not good this year, and bringing back Verlander getting back on Friday is a big sign for them. I like the fact that he is coming back against the Nationals. No offense to the Nationals, but it's a good job for him to come back against a kind of weaker opponent, just to build him back up and get him back into the flow of major league things. He's had a lot of injury risk now in the past few years as being older. We've seen it with the Tommy John, with what happened with the Mets hurting his armpit of all things. So. Yeah, I really hope he stays healthy now, back with the Astros. Really hope he performs well, and I think he'll be a big help to this Astros team that definitely needs it. Finally, we have Ozzie Albies. I talked about this yesterday as it broke on my stream. He has been placed on the 10-day IL with a fractured toe. He got hit by a pitch, and after the game, it was shown that he has a fractured toe and will be placed on the 10-day IL. Now, this isn't a huge loss, as it seems like he'll be back after the 10 days pretty easily, but they just want to be safe and call up another guy. So, but the last thing the Braves do need right now is injuries. Having a tough schedule, just getting off a series of the Astros. The Mets are heating up. The Phillies are heating up. You can't really deal with injuries right now, especially when you just had one of your better players get hurt in Strider. So things might be getting a little tough in Atlanta right now. It might be getting a little tense. You might be thinking, are we going to lose first place soon to the Mets of the Phillies? I think that would still be over dramatic. I still think the Braves are a great team, but they've been hit really hard with injuries these past few days or so. Hit really hard with just some unlucky things to their players. And yeah, again, I don't think Albies is a huge deal. I think that he should be back pretty easily, pretty soon. So that's something to watch here. But yeah, only 10 days. Doesn't seem to be a big deal with the foot. But you don't have the greatest infield depth. You already have a guy like Orlando Arcia starting at shortstop, and I don't really care what Braves fans say. I don't think he's that good. So you already need some other infield depth. But it'll be interesting to see if they do play there. I would assume Guillorme is going to be starting there for the Braves for now. I think that was why he was brought in to be the main depth guy on the bench, be the main guy who fills in from time to time playing. So, yeah, I would assume he's the guy, but if there's someone else they're calling up or someone else that is going to fill in at that position, I'll be sure to check it out. But I would assume Guillorme is that guy. But again, not a huge deal for the Braves, as Albies shouldn't be on the IL for that long. But you've already had some injuries. You don't want to have more. So, it is unfortunate right now if it's going off the Braves. But hey, it is baseball and these things happen. So, yeah. So that is the end of our show, guys. Today, I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember to follow us anywhere to get content and updates on social media. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Again, thank you so much. Have a great day out. We'll see you tomorrow. And it's a really nice day. Enjoy it. And we'll see you at baseball throughout tomorrow. Bye, guys, and thank you.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn ain't that great.